Good morning, students. Today I will discuss another topic of plant layout, that is factor influencing plant layout and its principles. Before starting today's concept, let me remind you what is plant layout. So first, what is a plant? Plant, we can say that it is an industrial unit where actual production takes place, or we can say that it is an industrial site where manufacturer produces the goods, operates the machines, and convert one material into another material. Or we can say that it is a factory or building where manufacturer converts various inputs into output. Next comes to layout. Layout, we can say that it is a plan or design or an arrangement of something. Next, plant layout. Plant layout, we can say that it is an arrangement of everything or every facility which requires a production within a factory. Or we can say that plant layout is a physical arrangement of everything which requires a production within a factory. When an industrialist identifies a new location for his plant, at that situation, a question arises related to placement of machines at different places, and a question arises related to identification of different location for different facilities. Means where should be the storeroom, where should be the tool room, where should be the material handling equipment room, and the location for shipping department, receiving department, canteen, and other facilities. These things can be decided by the production manager in plant layout. Means while designing the layout of the plant, the production manager identifies different location for different facilities, and he arrange different things which require for production within a factory. So we can say that plant layout is a physical arrangement of everything which require for production within a factory. So while designing the layout of the plant, the production manager should have to take utmost care, because every small changes in layout of the plant, it affect the production process, and it also affect the material flow pattern, and it unnecessarily brings huge cost to the organization. So while designing the layout of the plant, the production manager should have to consider various factors, various elements, because it is an important thing. If the production manager unable to design a good layout for the plant, then the farm cannot able to produce more quantity goods at less time, at less cost. If the production manager able to identify, or if the production manager prepare a good design, a good layout for the plant, then it provides maximum operating efficiency to the organization. Means within a less time, within a less cost, the farm can able to produce the goods. Means if the layout of the plant is a good one or an ideal one, then the manufacturer can able to produce more goods at less time, and the production can be done in a smooth manner, and can be done in a rapid manner, or can be done in a uninterrupted manner. So the production manager has a responsibility to make a design, to make a good design for the plant, so that provides a maximum operating efficiency to the organization or to the plant. If the production manager designs a faulty layout of the plant, then the farm cannot able to produce the goods at less cost, and there is unnecessary wastage of time, and there is unnecessary movement of workers and machines. So if the machines are idle, and if there is unnecessary movement of workers, then the farm cannot capable to utilize the capabilities, or can utilize the efficiencies of human resource properly, and the farm are unable to utilize the capacities of machines also. So that the farm or the manufacturer cannot able to produce more quantity of goods at less time. So for producing more quantity goods at less time, or for producing the goods in a most effective and efficient manner, there should be a good plant layout. So every production manager has a responsibility to make a design, to make a proper design related to the layout of the plant, so that provide maximum operating efficiency to the farm, so that the farm can able to produce more quantity goods at less cost, at less time. This is all about the concept of plant layout, and this is all about our last class. Today I will discuss another topic of Plant layout, that is factor influencing plant layout. What we will discuss in this topic? In this topic, we will discuss what factors, what elements a production manager should have to consider while designing the layout of a plant. Because making a design related to the layout of a plant is a vital one, because every small changes in the layout of the plant brings huge cost to the organization, and it also affect the production process of the organization. To avoid these things, the production manager should have to identify or should have to design a good layout for the plant. So while making the design of the layout of the plant, at that situation the production manager should have to consider various factors that affect the layouts. If the production manager considers various factors or various elements for designing the layout of the plant, then we can say that that plant is a good one, that plant layout is a good one or is an ideal one, and that provide a maximum operating efficiency to the organization. So layout varies from industry to industry, location to location, and plant to plant. uh, no two industry uses same type of plant layout. There are different types of plant layout, and the organization of the plant should have to identify a layout according to their requirement, according to their suitability. Means the production manager has to identify a particular layout which is suitable to which is suitable to the plant, and which is required to the plant. And after identifying a particular layout, he has the responsibility to install that one, so that provide a maximum operating efficiency to the organization, so that the farm can able to produce the goods in a most effective and efficient way. So production manager has a responsibility to identify a good layout or make a good design related to layout of the plant, so that the farm can able to get maximum operating efficiency. So he has to consider various factors while designing the layout. The factors are materials, product, worker, machinery, type of industry, location, and managerial policy of the organization. If these factors production manager considered while designing the layout of the plant, then we can say that that plant layout is a good one or an ideal one, and that provide maximum operating efficiency to the organization. Means the farm can capable to produce more quantity goods at less time or at less cost. Let me discuss various factors that influence plant layout one by one in detail. First, the production manager has to consider the factor that is material. Material is the most important aspect that affect the plant layouts of an organization. Means some organization uses liquid type of material, some organization uses solid material, or some organization uses gaseous type of material. So the production manager has to identify which type of material that plant uses, and according to the uses of material, he has to make a suitable design for the layout of the plant. And he has to design the plant, he has to prepare a layout of the plant accordingly. If the plant uses liquid type of material, then the production manager should have to arrange the facilities like he should have to arrange the pipelines through which the liquid material can move from storage unit to production unit, and he should have to arrange different pipelines through which the finished goods can be moved within a factory. If the plant uses solid type of material, then the production manager should have to identify or should have to arrange different type of material handling equipment that's suitable to carry or that's suitable to move the solid materials from storage unit to production unit. Means he should have to choose material handling equipment like cranes, elevators, hoist, and there is no requirement for installing the pipeline conveyor through which the material can be moved. So according to the requirement of material, the layout should be done, so that the farm can able to get maximum operating efficiency. Next, there is a need arises for storage and movement of material in a plant until they are converted into finished goods. Means there is a requirement of storage of material. So first the production manager has to identify which type of material generally the farm uses, which type of material generally the farm uses, and accordingly he has to arrange the storage facilities for storing that material. If the plant uses liquid type of material, then the storage facility may be different. Means in storage house he has to arrange different tanks or different container uh, for keeping the materials, for keeping the raw liquid materials. And if the plant uses solid type of material, then the layout of the storage is different. So first he has to identify which type of material generally the plant uses, and accordingly he has to arrange different facilities, and accordingly he has to design the layout of the plant. And materials should be stored properly and moved through production center efficiently. So material generally should have to store properly, because if the plant unable to store the material properly, then unnecessary cost arises, unnecessary losses arises to the organization, so that ultimately leads to increase in production cost. So there should be a proper requirement for storage of materials. So the production manager should have to identify the type of material which the farm uses, and accordingly, if he design the layout of the plant, then the farm get maximum operating efficiency. Means within a less cost, within a less time, the farm can able to produce more goods efficiently and effectively. And he also has to identify the route, the way through which the material can be moved from storage unit to production unit. He should have to identify the shortest route through which the material can be moved from storage unit to production unit. So first factor he has to consider while designing the layout of the plant is material. After that, he has to consider another factor for designing the layout of the plant, that is product. Product also having influence in plant layout also. So production manager has to identify the type of product the plant manufactures. So what type of product generally the farm produces, he has to identify whether the farm produces heavy or lightweight product, or the farm produces big or small product, or the farm produces liquid or solid type of product. According to the product's production, the production manager has to arrange everything in a sequential manner, has to arrange according to the suitability of the product. Means according to the type of product, the production manager designs the layout of the plant. If the plant produces heavy product, a bulky product, then it is not possible for the farm to move the material from to move the product from workstation to workstation for production. Generally, in majority cases, the product moves from workstation to workstation for production. But in case of bulky product or heavy product, it is impossible for the farm to move this product from workstation to workstation for production, because bulky product is difficult to move. So at that situation, the production manager has to arrange different facilities in such a way that the production of the bulky product can be done in a most effective way. Means he has to arrange different things. He has to identify that the materials and equipments and other things should have to move to the production area, should have moved to the particular should have go to the near to the product, and at there the production can be done. Means in case of bulky product, in case of heavy product, the product is fixed to a particular place, and he has to identify that he has to suggest that everything, means human resource, machinery, and other equipment should go to that particular place for producing the goods. The product cannot move from workstation to workstation due to its bulkiness, due to its heaviness. So for identifying or for designing a good layout, the production manager has to consider the type of product the farm produces. If the farm produces a heavy or bulky product, then other resources like human resources and materials and other equipment has to move to the particular place where the product is installed. At that place, the production can be done and the product cannot move from workstation to workstation. If the farm produces a lightweight product, then the product can move from a particular workstation to another workstation for production. Generally, the product first go to a particular department or particular workstation where it requires for first processing. After that, whatever the semi-finished goods, next it has to move to the next workstation, next department for further processing. At last, the farm can capable to produce a finished goods. So the production manager, while designing the layout of the plant, first he has to identify whether the farm produces heavy product or lightweight product, or he has to identify whether the farm produces a liquid type of product or solid type of product. If the farm produces a liquid type of product, then he has to arrange different facilities, like he has to arrange a pipeline conveyor through which the liquid materials can move from storage unit to production unit for manufacturing. And after manufacturing a liquid material, he should have to arrange different tanks or different containers through which the liquid materials or liquid product can be protected easily. And if the farm produce a solid type of material, then there is no requirement for arranging pipeline conveyor, there is no requirement for installation of different pipelines, and the production manager should have to identify different equipments which can capable to move the solid material from one place to another place. Means he has to identify a different type of cranes, elevators, hoists, so that they can carry or they can move the solid materials from one place to another places easily. So, after considering the material for identifying or making a good design related to plant layout, the production manager next has to consider the type of product the farm produces. According to the nature of product, generally the production manager identifies the layout or prepares the layout of the plant so that that provides a maximum operating efficiency to the organization. Next factor he has to consider while designing the layout of the plant, that is worker. Worker also plays an important role while designing the layout of the plant. Means the production manager has the responsibility to arrange basic employee amenities near to their workstation so that they can use these things in a convenient way. Means every employee requires some facilities, like they require a restroom, they require a canteen, and they require a toilet, everything. These things can be arranged near to their workstation, near to their work center, so that they can use this thing in a most effective way, most efficient way, so that by using these things, their satisfaction level also increases. So it is the responsibility of production manager arrange different employee amenities near to their workstation. And after that, he should have to identify the types of worker appointed in the organization. Means if the organization having female workers, then the production manager should have to arrange different facilities for women employees. Means he has to construct a separate room for the requirement of employees. Means requirement of female employees, generally they require a room for rest, they require a room for feeding, and they require a room for other facilities also. So by considering the gender of the employee or gender of the worker, if the production manager design the layout of the plant, then the employees morale can be improved, and the employees can feel satisfaction also. So while designing the layout of the plant, the production manager should have to consider the worker factor also. Next factor the production manager should have to consider, that is machinery. So according to the installation of machine inside the factory, the production manager should have to design the layout of the plant. So in installation of machinery depends upon the type of product the farm produces, the volume of its production, the types of process, and the management policy. If the farm produces more quantity goods, then the production manager should have to suggest to install the machines which having higher capacity for production. So for that situation or for that reason, the arrangement, the layout may be different one. If the farm produces liquid type of material, then for that plant layout may be different. And if the plant produces solid type of material, for that plant layout may be a different one. So if the according to the installation of the machinery, the production manager should have to design the layout of the plant. And while designing the layout of the plant, he is to consider the type of process. If the farm only adopt the conversion process, generally the conversion process requires few machines, and accordingly he has to arrange different machines in such a way that in a sequence way. And if the farm adopt mm, if the farm adopt formation process and conversion process, generally it requires lesser machine. And if the farm adopt assembly process, then at that situation they require different machines, like they require that produces casting, they require a machine of turning, they require a machine of milling, drilling, and they require a machine of forging. So at that situation, for that plant, generally that plant requires various types of machine. And in that situation, the production manager has to arrange different machines in such a way that the output of one machine can be used as input for another machine. So by considering the type of product and the volume of its production, the type of process the farm generally adopts, accordingly machines are installed. So if the production manager considers the type of machinery that to be installed within a factory, while designing the layout of the plant, then that layout provide a maximum operating efficiency to the organization. Next factor he has to consider, that is type of industry. Type of industry plays a vital role while designing the layout of the plant. So according to the nature of industry, the production manager has to design the layout of the plant. So there are four types of industry, that is synthetic industry, analytical industry, conditioning industry, and extractive industry. Let me explain all the industry in detail first. So what is a synthetic industry? Generally, synthetic industry is also called as assembly industry. What function a synthetic industry will perform? Generally, synthetic industry produces a product by using different elements. Take the example of watch manufacturing industry. Watch manufacturing industry collect different teeny particles, teeny elements for producing a particular watch. Generally, synthetic industry assembles different things for producing a goods. Next comes to analytical industry. An analytical industry converts raw material into various elements. Means an analytical industry converts a single element into a single raw material into various elements. Take the example of oil refinery industry. Oil refinery industry generally collects crude oil from fossil fuels. After collecting the crude oil by processing it or by refining it, that industry get various types of material, various types of elements, like they get petrol, diesel, gasoline, and other materials also. So generally, analytical industry converts raw material into various elements, one raw material into various elements. Next comes to conditioning industry. Conditioning industry involves a change in form or physical properties. This industry involves in changing the shape and size of a particular property or particular element. Take the example of iron sheet manufacturing industry or metal working industry. Generally, they change the shape of the particular material by using casting process, by using forging process. Take the example of Vizag steel plant, Bokaro steel plant. Generally, they are the conditioning industry. They changes the shape and size of a particular iron ore. They changes the shape and size of a particular iron sheet. By using the iron ore, by using the casting process, they convert the iron ore into or iron sheet into different type of usable pieces. Like they produces different iron rods, different iron sheets as per the requirement of other industries or other organizations. Next comes to extractive industry. Extractive industry involves separation of one element from another. So this industry only works for separating one element from another. It's the example of separating iron from iron ore. So, according to the type of industry, generally the production manager designs the layout of the plant. Generally, the the plant produces different goods by converting different shapes and sizes, different shapes and sizes of different material. Generally, that farm require various machines like they require a casting machine, they require a stamping machine, purging machines, turning machines, milling, grinding, every machine, different type of machines. Generally, that type of farm requires. So, at that situation, the production manager has to arrange different machines in such a manner that the output of one machine can be used as input for another machine. If the industry uses, if the industry converts one material into various elements, generally it also requires few type of machineries, and that should have to arrange in such a manner that the farm can able to produce the goods at most convenient way. So, according to the type of industry, generally the production manager has to design the layout of the plant. Next is to consider the locational factors also. Locational factors also having an influence in plant layout. First, he has to identify the size of the location. Size of the location where the plant is installed means if that location having enough space, then the production manager can able to arrange or able to locate different rooms according to the space available. According to the space available means he has to identify the size of the location first, and accordingly he has to design the layout of the plant so that every space of a particular location can be utilized properly. Second, the location determines mode of transportation that affect layout. So in a particular location also determines the mode of transportation. Means if the transportation in a particular location is transportation medium is available in a particular location is railroad system, means he has to identify a location for installing the shipping department or receiving department near to the road communication area, so that product can be shipped, material can be received in a most effective and efficient way. Third, the plant location may be determined by the fuel requirement. Generally, the location may be identified by the industrialist according to the availability of fuel. If in a particular location the coals are available and coal is used by the plant for its fuel, if the coals are available, then the production manager has to identify a layout or has to identify location for the storehouse in such a way that that can protect that type of fuel, protect the coal in a most effective way. So locational factor also plays an important role while designing the layout of the plant. Last factor he has to consider that managerial policy of the organization. So while designing the layout of the plant, he has to consider various objectives, various policies of the organization. What are the policies of the organization? Generally, are the volume of production. Means what quantity of production generally the organization require. If the management require higher quantity, high volume of production, then the production manager should have to install the machine which having the capability to produce more quantity of goods. Next, extent of automation. If the industrialist or if the management of a farm decides to adopt automation process, and accordingly the production manager should have to design the layout of the plant. Means by considering the degree of automation, he has to arrange the machines and arrange the different facilities in such a way that the farm can able to get maximum operating efficiency. Next, making a buying decision. What He has to identify that whether the management makes decisions related to prepare different things inside the organization, inside the factory, or management plan to purchase some parts from the outside of the organization, and accordingly he has to make the design. If the management decides to purchase something from the outside, to purchase some part from the outside, then there is no requirement to install every machine that required for production. Next comes to purchasing policy. What the management decides related to the purchasing policy, purchasing requirement of the organization. Generally, if management decides that if a management decides that they purchase the bulk quantity at a time and they can use this thing for the whole year, then the production manager should have to identify a proper location, should have to identify the storeroom, should have to identify a place for storeroom where enough space is available, because the organization purchases bulky raw material and they have to store properly so that they can use it for the whole year. Next, provision for expansion means what the management intention related to expansion, related to expand of the plant, he has to identify. If the management decides to expand the plant in future, then he has to design the layout of the plant in such a way that it can help the organization, it can help the farm to expand further without arising much difficulties. This is all about the factor influencing plant layout. Next, I will discuss principles of plant layout. Principles means what? Principles are rules and regulations of plant layout. Generally, these rules and regulations the production manager should have to consider while designing the layout of the plant. First, the principle of minimum travel means he should have to identify the route through which the men and machines can be traveled at less time, means he has to identify the route through which minimum travel can be done. Means the materials can be moved from storage unit to production unit with less traveling. With minimum traveling, the men's and the materials can be moved within a factory, and men or materials and everything should be moved in a shorter distance only. Next, principle of sequence means he has to arrange different things or different departments or different machines in a sequential manner. Means he has to arrange the machines in such a way that the output of one machine can be used as input for another machine, so that the production can be done in a smooth manner, so that the production can be done in a continuous manner. Not only he has to arrange the machines in a sequential manner, but also he has the responsibility to arrange different departments in a proper manner, in a systematic or sequential manner. Means if a particular product require for processing in a particular department first, that department should have to place in a first position, and after to that what department having the next processing, that department should have to arrange, so that without any problem the product can move from a different workstation to another workstation for production. Next comes to principle of waste usage. Principle of usage is the most important thing. He has to use every space of a location properly, effectively, so that the space of the organization, so that the every space of the plant can be used in the most effective and efficient manner. This is the important consideration in town and cities, because every space in town and cities is much costly, so the production manager should have to use every space of a particular location properly and most effectively. Next comes to principle of safety and satisfaction. Principle of safety and satisfaction means what? He has to arrange different facilities in such a way that provide maximum safety and satisfaction to the employees. Means he has the responsibility to arrange employee amenities near to their work centers, near to their workstations, so that they can use this thing in a most effective and efficient manner. Next comes to principle of flexibility. Means there should be a principle of flexibility. Means he should have to arrange the machine in such a manner that they have the capability to they have the capability to further changing. So in case any requirement, the farm can able to change the set of the machine, so that they can able to produce the goods in an effective and efficient way. Last one is the principle of minimum investment. He has to design the layout of the plant in such a way that within a minimum investment that can be done, and that provides a maximum operating to to the organization. And if the investment in layout is minimum, then it reduces the cost of production. Then it reduces the cost of production means ultimately total cost of production decreases, and the objective of production department or the overall objective of the organization can be achieved. So this is all about the principles and factors that affect the plant layout. This is all about our today's class. Thank you.